7 days before leaving this world, I decided to make peace with my parents, to be the obedient daughter they always expected. I no longer got angry because they favored their adopted daughter, Tiffany, nor did I feel sad that my childhood friend was always trying to please her. At first, they just sneered with disdain. "You finally look like a big sister. If you were like this sooner, everyone would be happy." Then their eyes gradually became suspicious. "Molly, why aren't you angry anymore?" I smiled faintly. Isn't this the look my parents always wanted? Before the system reconnected with me, the relationship between me and the whole family had cooled to freezing point. The system's voice rang out calmly.
The detachment program will take effect in 1 week. Host, see you in 7 days.
I nodded silently, then lit the candle on the cake beside me. The candlelight flickered. I clasped my hands to make my final wish in this world. As I prepared to blow out the candle, the door was suddenly pushed open from the outside. My parents, brother, and Tiffany walked in laughing and talking. My eyes met my brother's. He let out a soft humph.
Mom was wondering why people didn't come to her birthday party. Turns out you're at home enjoying yourself.
Hearing this, the smile in Mom's eyes instantly vanished, replaced by disgust. She strode over, lifted the cake from the table, and threw it hard into the trash can. "Eat it. It's my birthday and you dare to cause trouble at home. Do you even have the face to eat cake?" Dad also looked at me heavily inside.
Molly, you are becoming too much.
He muttered as he walked inside.
I don't understand how we raised a child like this.
I silently watched his back. Just as I was about to say something, my collar was tightly grabbed by my brother, who pulled me violently forward. My body swayed with a force. He gritted his teeth and spoke.
Molly, do you have to make the whole family unhappy to feel good? Have you forgotten how you broke Mom's heart before?
I just looked at him and smiled, saying nothing. If it were before, I would definitely cry and explain that it really had nothing to do with me. Or I would ask aggrievedly why everyone always defended that adopted child when I was clearly the biological daughter. But now, with only 1 week left before I leave, those questions are no longer important. I don't care anymore. I raised my head, my eyes looking back at him firmly, not showing any weakness. His chest heaved violently. Finally, he used his strength to push me away hard.
Molly, you are despicable. You can't compare to Tiffany.
My head hit the corner of the coffee table hard, and pain spread throughout my body immediately. Tiffany let out a cry and hurriedly ran over to support me. "Sis, are you okay?" She slightly blamed our brother. "Brother, she looks like she's in a lot of pain." Charlie laughed contemptuously.
Don't worry about her. She's best at pretending to be pitiful. She knows you're kind-hearted, so she's acting for you to see.
He pulled Tiffany away, warning her.
How many times have you been tricked by her, and you still don't remember? Don't let her turn the tables on you again.
Every word of his was like a knife cutting into my heart. I took a deep breath. The pain caused tears to flow unconsciously. I clutched my wound and staggered back to my room. It's okay, I'm leaving this place soon anyway. I don't care anymore. Today is Mom's birthday. Not long ago, I had a big argument with them because of Tiffany and left in anger. I initially planned to use this occasion to make up and celebrate Mom's birthday. I bought gifts and a cake, rushing back from school, but in front of me was a locked door. I called, and on the other end was the sound of happy laughter. Mom laughed coldly. "Didn't you say from now on I only have Tiffany as a daughter? Why are you calling now?" My hand stiffened, trying to keep my voice calm. "I came back to celebrate your birthday, Mom." Her voice replied coldly. "Do I have the blessing to have you celebrate my birthday? I thank God if you don't torture me." On the other side, Tiffany's sweet voice rang out. "Mom, come blow out the candles, hurry." Mom replied gently. "I'm coming right away." Then she turned back to speak to me, her voice indifferent as if granting a favor. Here's the address. Come if you want." I was silent for a moment, then replied. "Then I won't come anymore. You and everyone have fun." Anyway, there was no place for me at that party. They invited relatives, friends, colleagues, but no one informed me. So why should I make things awkward for myself? Before hanging up, Tiffany's voice rang out again. "Mom, is that sister calling?" Has she admitted her mistake? Then tell her to come along quickly. She hung up. I sat outside for a long time. 18 years of my life flashed through my mind, tears uncontrollably falling silently. Finally, I used all the points accumulated over 18 years to call the system, requesting to end the mission early. On the other side, my body, suffering from terminal cancer, was still waiting. Suddenly, the door was pushed open. Without turning my head, I knew it was Tiffany. She used the same old trick, coming to me in the name of comfort and advice, but actually to show off and trample on my self-esteem. "Are you still in pain, sis?" She giggled. I don't know why brother used so much force, acting so ruthlessly even with his biological sister. And you too, knowing everyone in the family hates you, why did you come back? Her eyes fell on the gift bag on the table, letting out two tsk sounds full of sarcasm. Did you buy such an expensive gift for Mom? Studying and working part-time must be very hard, right? Not like me. Mom and Dad give me so much monthly allowance I can't even spend it all. I've never even known what it feels like to work part-time. She laughed triumphantly. She had said words like that countless times. I once slapped her hard, and once threw a glass of water on her head. But the result was that every time, I was scolded by my parents and brother, making them hate me more and defend Tiffany even more. I asked myself countless times, is it because my personality isn't lovable that my parents don't love me? I was even crazy enough to imitate Tiffany's way of speaking, smiling, and looking, just hoping to receive a little more attention, a little affection. But in the end, I pathetically realized it was useless. No matter what I do, in their eyes, I am still selfish, petty, jealous, ugly, and stupid. And Tiffany is the little angel in everyone's heart. Even though she led the whole class to bully and curse me, even though she secretly mocked and humiliated me many times when no one was there. I tried telling everything to my parents and brother, but the response was only looks of disgust and even more prejudice. The most recent argument was when Tiffany stole my painting to enter a contest and won the national first prize. I angrily questioned her. She acted wronged and shed tears. If you're happy having this award, I'm willing to give it up to you. I went crazy with anger and called her a thief. My mother immediately gave me a slap. Shut up. You useless thing, jealous of others. Why did I give birth to a child like you? I stood frozen, holding my cheek in disbelief. Before this, even though they didn't love me, they had never hit me. Mom, then just consider that you never had this child. I ran out of the house and didn't come back. Until today, I thought maybe there was still a chance. Maybe they were just blinded by Tiffany's fake light. But now I understand, I was too stupid. Seeing my silence, Tiffany laughed even more arrogantly. What's wrong? Did getting beaten make you obedient? Don't dare to talk back anymore? I looked in the mirror to check the wound, not bothering to give her a glance. If you like it, you can take it all. Perhaps my reaction was too cold, not satisfying her as expected. The smile on her lips vanished, replaced by a look full of resentment. Molly, don't think these things are granted by you. I won everything myself, and you're just a hateful thing everyone wants to avoid. I paused, looking at her calmly. Are you done talking? If you're done, get out of my room. Mom brought disinfectant, intending to help me sterilize the wound. I reached out to take it, but she pulled my head back and did it herself. My heart, which had already gone cold, suddenly felt slightly warmed. My eyes stung, uncomfortable enough to want to cry. In the original world, I was an orphan. When I transmigrated to this world, for the first time, I truly felt the happiness of a complete family. Mom and Dad loved me. My brother always pampered me. At 20 years old, the mission to be loved by the whole family seemed as easy as a free pass. Just by completing it, I would be cured of my illness in the old world. But I once thought that when the day came to complete the mission, I wouldn't go back. Not until my parents' best friend passed away and my family adopted Tiffany. From then on, everything started to change. Molly. Mom's voice pulled me out of my thoughts. I looked up. She rubbed my hair gently. You poor thing, I'll go scold your brother later. I asked softly, my voice trembling slightly. Mom, do you really not want a daughter like me? Mom's expression paused slightly, her voice suddenly becoming harder. What are you saying? Have you forgotten, for you, I would even risk my life? I have never forgotten, just nodded silently. She held my hand, patting it gently. Molly, there's something I want to discuss with you. Since you've moved out anyway, and after the college entrance exam, you'll be staying in the dorms. How about you clear out this room so your sister can use it as an art studio? My breath hitched. The warmth I felt when Mom disinfected my wound just now turned out to be a joke. I asked in a small voice. Then what about when I come back? Mom frowned slightly, her voice showing impatience. If you come back for a day or two, you can stay temporarily in the study. You're no different from a guest at home anyway. Clearly, I've heard many words that made my heart ache, but at this moment, I still couldn't avoid the sharp pain. I heard my own voice come out softly. Yes, I understand, Mom. I smiled at her. If she wants anything else, I can give it too. As long as you and she are happy. She froze momentarily, the next sentence stuck in her throat. A hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. Molly, do you really agree? Before, every time Tiffany used them to steal my things, I always resisted and argued to the end. But this time I didn't want to fight anymore. The result wouldn't change anyway. I'm leaving soon regardless. Seeing me nod sincerely, the suspicion in Mom's eyes gradually faded, replaced by a satisfied smile. Her gaze shifted to the gift bag on the table. Inside was the gift I had prepared for Mom, a gold necklace with a butterfly pendant. It was a gift I bought with money earned from part-time jobs and prize money from competitions. I understood Mom's intention and proactively handed the gift bag over. Is this for me? The smile in her eyes deepened, her voice tinged with joy. Molly, you've really grown up. It seems your dad kicking you out of the house for a few days really made you think. Your brother teaching you a lesson just now seems to have had an effect too. I could only smile bitterly inside. A 12th grade student kicked out of the house by her parents for days without anyone asking, beaten by her own brother until her forehead bled with no one caring. Yet Mom felt happy about it. Suddenly, I found everything so meaningless. I whispered to Mom. Mom, I'm tired. I want to sleep a bit early. Mom immediately stood up, laughing. Then I'll head back. You rest. I turned off the light in the room, lay down on the bed, and regulated my breathing. It's almost over, Molly. Don't be sad anymore. The next morning, as soon as I woke up, I heard laughter from the living room. I rubbed my eyes and walked out. The moment I appeared, the chatting stopped instantly. Tyler, my childhood sweetheart, looked at me with embarrassment and greeted me awkwardly.
Molly, you're up?
I nodded and walked straight to the kitchen to get water. He used to be the only one standing by my side when my parents and brother favored Tiffany, used to hate and oppose her with me. But unbeknownst to me, he also became someone standing by Tiffany's side. Even when I was isolated by her leading the whole class, with fabricated stories humiliating me at school, I begged him for help, but he just turned away coldly.
Why does everyone dislike you, but like Tiffany? Molly, a person should learn to reflect on themselves.
I drank the water, not wanting to get close to them, intending to return to my room, but Tiffany skipped over to me. Sister, Brother Tyler just brought me super happy news. She smiled radiantly, looking like a sunflower in the sunlight. On her neck, the gold butterfly necklace sparkled under the light. I couldn't help but reach out and touch the butterfly shape lightly. Her eyes glittered even more. Is it beautiful? It was originally Mom's, but she saw I liked it, so she gave it to me. So the necklace Mom took from me yesterday was to give to Tiffany. Mom's face flashed with awkwardness. Molly, don't overthink it. But I just pursed my lips and smiled. Since we're family, whoever wears it is the same. The forced smile on Mom's face suddenly froze. It took a long time for her to speak slowly. That's right, Molly has really become sensible. Tiffany acted innocent, pulling my hand towards the sofa. Sister, you still don't know the good news Brother Tyler just mentioned. She turned to look at him with gentle eyes. Brother Tyler, why don't you tell her? Tyler slightly avoided my gaze.
Isn't the college entrance exam coming up? My mom said after the exam, she would sign me up for an overseas tour. I thought about inviting Tiffany to go with me. So I came to ask uncle and aunt to borrow her documents for the visa.
After speaking, he clutched the hem of his shirt tightly, not daring to look up at me. Mom immediately laughed and interjected. Okay, let me go get the documents for you. As she passed by me, she gently pulled my hand. Molly, come with me. I knew she was afraid I would get angry and make a scene like before. A few months ago, on my birthday, Tyler promised to celebrate with me. Since Tiffany arrived, no one remembered my birthday anymore. Every year, only Tyler lit candles, ate cake, and laughed with me. But that year, I waited until the cake melted, and he still didn't show up. The gift intended for me was eventually given to Tiffany. At that moment, I realized the last person important to me was gradually leaving my life. Fear, despair, anger, all those emotions flooded my heart. I ran to the hospital, where the whole family and Tyler were surrounding Tiffany, who was feigning illness. No one remembered it was my birthday. I rushed in and slapped Tiffany hard. Immediately after, Charlie and Tyler pushed me to the ground.
Get out.
Charlie glared and pointed to the door.
How many times have you bullied Tiffany?
As for Tyler, his eyes were full of disappointment.
Molly, I didn't expect you to be that kind of girl.
Perhaps that's why today they were afraid that hearing Tyler wanted to take Tiffany abroad would make me throw a tantrum again. Mom hurriedly wanted to pull me away to avoid trouble. But it's not necessary anymore. I gently pulled my hand out of Mom's. She froze slightly. Tiffany's voice rang out, sweet as honey. Sister, if only I go with brother Tyler, will you be angry? If you're not happy, I can give this opportunity to you. No need. I cut her off, my voice calm. I wish you two a happy trip. I held the glass of water and continued towards my room. Tyler suddenly stood up and walked quickly to my side.
Molly, I'll bring you a souvenir then.
A look of awkwardness, mixed with ingratiation, flashed in his eyes. How strange. When I got angry and didn't want him to be close to Tiffany, he called me petty and selfish, even disgusted enough not to walk home from school with me. Now that I don't care anymore, he wants to close the distance between us. I smiled softly and shook my head. Thanks, but I don't need any gifts. Wish you two a very happy trip. Perhaps because I appeared too calm. The moment I closed the door, whispers could still be heard from behind. Strange, why do I feel Molly is a bit different lately? That's right, before, if we didn't let her go along, she would definitely turn the house upside down. Charlie laughed coldly.
What right does she have to be angry? If it weren't for her, would Mom's hand have ended up like this?
I silently closed the door. Large drops of blood fell one by one onto the hospital floor. In the 3rd year after Tiffany was adopted, my mother received a blackmail message. Your daughter Molly is in my hands. If you want to save her, bring 50,000 yuan alone to this location. Mom went there but only saw the kidnapper. I wasn't there at all. During the struggle, he used a knife to slash Mom's wrist. The wound was so deep it cut the nerve. And my mother was a famous surgeon, known as Golden Hands in the medical field. The kidnapper laughed savagely. What a fool. Your own daughter said, just lure you here, destroy one of your hands, and this money will be mine. Don't blame me later. At that time, I had no idea what happened. I was at a friend's house for a party. Until my father stormed in furiously, kicking me hard, knocking me to the ground. I looked at him in pain and asked tremblingly, Dad, what's wrong? His eyebrows nearly stood on end.
You dare ask? If Tiffany hadn't found the phone you threw away for fear of being discovered, this whole family wouldn't know how vicious you are. You dared to collude with outsiders to ruin your own mother.
I panicked worrying about Mom, so I didn't have time to explain anything and immediately ran to the hospital. Dried bloodstains still remained on the hospital floor. Mom lay on the hospital bed, her eyes full of pain and tears. Molly, even if you're jealous because we adopted Tiffany, you couldn't trick me into a death trap like that. Molly, I truly regret giving birth to a child like you. Afterward, I tried to explain many times, sometimes crying, sometimes calmly. I really didn't know why the messages with the kidnapper appeared on my phone. How could I collude with a stranger to harm my mother? But in their eyes, it was just stubborn excuses. Could it be that Tiffany fabricated that conversation? Tiffany pretended to be horrified, tears falling profusely. Sister, in the past, whatever you were wrongly accused of, I took the blame so you would be happy because I'm just an adopted child. But this time it involves the career Mom is most proud of. I absolutely cannot cover for you anymore. Her righteous voice sealed the crime on my head. From then on, in the eyes of the whole family, I was an ungrateful, cruel, wolf-hearted person. But late that night, Tiffany quietly walked into my room, her lips curling slightly. Molly, you're really ruthless. Destroying the career your mother loves most. Can she still consider you her daughter? You clearly framed me. So what? She sneered and whispered. Does anyone believe you? She covered her mouth, laughing in the moonlight, and left. I collapsed on the floor just as she said. From then on, the phrase "consider that I never had this child" was truly said by Mom countless times. And finally, it is about to become reality. I lay looking at the ceiling, silently counting down. 5 days left. In the evening, Tyler stayed at my house for dinner. The table was full of delicious dishes. Mom put food in Tyler's and Tiffany's bowls. Eat up, you both like hairy crabs. The crabs are very fat this season. Tyler thanked her politely. Tiffany spoke coquettishly. Brother Tyler, I don't want to peel it myself, it's annoying. Can you help me? Tyler replied gently, his voice full of pampering. Mom joked. You're this big and still letting Tyler take care of you. What will you do when you get married? Dad also laughed.
Need you ask? Looking at them now, getting married is just a matter of time.
My brother took the opportunity to tease further.
Tiffany is blushing. You two are childhood sweethearts. Isn't loving each other obvious?
The table was full of laughter and talking. Every word was like a needle pricking my ears. I pretended not to hear, just silently eating my rice. But Charlie wouldn't let it go, tapping lightly on the bowl and calling my name.
Molly, what do you think?
I looked up at him in confusion. The corners of his lips quirked up, but his eyes were ice cold.
Don't you think Tiffany and Tyler are a match made in heaven?
I hesitated for a few seconds. He laughed softly, his voice mocking.
Don't tell me you're still daydreaming that the childhood promise will come true, that you will marry Tyler later.
I put down my chopsticks and replied calmly. No, they are very compatible. I wish them a long time together. The table instantly fell silent. Charlie frowned in annoyance, picking up another piece of food.
How boring. Every time you ruin the mood like this.
Tiffany laughed softly, her voice coquettish. Oh, my sister is jealous again. Brother Tyler, comfort her quickly. Tyler looked at me with complex eyes upon hearing this, but his hands remained still. Mom picked up a crab and put it in my bowl. Don't just talk, Molly, eat too. The crabs are very fresh today. I nodded slightly, but didn't touch my chopsticks. After eating a few more bites, I stood up intending to leave the table. Mom, Dad, the college entrance exam is in a few days. I'll go back to my room to review first. Please continue eating. Dad called me back.
Wait.
I turned my head. His eyes darkened, cold as ice.
You haven't eaten the crab Mom gave you. Are you leaving like this to deliberately make Mom sad?
Tiffany rested her chin on her hands, smiling and staring, waiting to see my reaction. Tyler stood up in slight embarrassment, intending to say something, but I cut him off. I didn't want to owe him anything anymore. I also didn't want to make things more complicated or cause any more misunderstandings. Mom, Dad, I'm allergic to seafood. Just a little bit, and I could stop breathing. Have you two forgotten? The dining room instantly sank into silence, so quiet you could hear a pin drop. Tyler let out a breath that was almost inaudible. Before Tiffany was adopted, I nearly fainted after eating crab. Later, when the allergy was diagnosed, Mom blamed herself immensely. Since then, seafood never appeared on our dining table again. But since Tiffany arrived, because she likes seafood, dish after dish gradually returned, and no one remembered that I was allergic to them. Mom spoke hesitantly. Is that true? But every year in the season, our house buys a table full of shrimp and crab, and you never said anything. I replied softly. Mom, didn't you realize I never ate any? Mom's body swayed slightly. Charlie immediately stood up, his voice angry.
I think whatever Tiffany likes, you suddenly become allergic to.
When people run out of words, Sometimes they can only laugh. He was made unnatural by my laughter.
What do you mean?
I looked at him calmly. If you think that, then I have no other way to explain it. After speaking, I turned and left the table. I looked around the room where I had lived for the past 18 years. At the meal just now, Dad mentioned clearing out my room for Tiffany to use as an art studio again. He said, after the college entrance exam, you can move out and stay temporarily in the study. The remaining days before the exam seemed to be the final grace they granted me. But I don't need it anymore. The next day, I made an excuse to take leave from school. When my parents went to work, I cleaned this room alone. Since entering high school, my parents cut almost all my living expenses, saying it was to make me more mature. I applied for a financial aid scholarship and worked part-time every vacation to cover living costs. My wardrobe didn't have much, while Tiffany had plenty of princess dresses and the latest fashion for every season. She was the school beauty queen, while I just buried my head in studies and part-time jobs with messy hair and old clothes. Once, a teacher wondered and said,
You two are biological sisters. Why are your achievements so different?
Other classmates immediately defended Tiffany. Nom/new teacher, Tiffany is so beautiful, she'll definitely be a celebrity later. What's the use of studying well? The teacher could only shake his head. Before, the teacher advised Tiffany to focus on studying, but she replied arrogantly, I'm not like those people who study to death only to work for others. Later, my parents' money will be mine. Being an artist for one day earns more than your whole life, teacher, so you don't need to teach me anymore. No one wanted to invite trouble, so gradually the teacher ignored it too. And she felt even happier. But I always wondered, how long could Tiffany live in that fake world built on lies and illusions? I gathered all my clothes and shoes, except for what I was wearing, stuffed them into a suitcase, and took them down to the trash. The gifts my parents gave me before Tiffany arrived, I also gathered and distributed to the children playing in the square downstairs. Other things that couldn't be taken away and would only take up space if left behind. I called a taxi, took everything to a vacant lot in the suburbs, and set them on fire. Smoke rose, pungent enough to make me cough violently. Tears welled up. When I first came to this world, I had only one goal: complete the mission, the affection strategy, to return to the old world in a healthy body. Back then, I was still a bright little girl, calling Daddy, Mommy with a tender voice and feeling their unconditional love. That feeling was so warm, it was the first time in 2 lifetimes I tasted parental love. I also learned to love them more, giving my all without holding back. But since Tiffany appeared, time and again I was treated coldly, forgotten, scolded, and despised. Only then did I understand that sometimes not having something is a form of happiness. At least you won't have to suffer the pain of losing it. But if you had it and then were completely stripped of it, it's just a prolonged torture that never ends. I watched the fire in front of me flicker and grow, then slowly die down. Finally, everything turned to ashes. In my heart, everything was gradually let go. Love that doesn't belong to me, just let it go. That night, I moved to sleep in the study. Several days passed, and no one in the house came out. It makes sense. Mom and Dad haven't come to talk to me at night for a long time. I stayed up all night, silently saying goodbye to this world. Tomorrow is the college entrance exam, also the day I leave this place forever. The next morning, surprisingly, the whole family was home. Mom smiled and brought me a glass of soy milk, instructing gently, Molly, eat up. You need to be full to have the spirit to fight. Dad also rarely smiled, telling me not to be nervous. Tiffany drank soy milk while glancing at me with a puzzled look. I thought maybe she was jealous because today Mom and Dad treated me kindlier than usual. But when the car was about to start, my stomach suddenly cramped violently. Only then did I understand the meaning in her eyes just now. She had put drugs in the soy milk. Right, how could she let me take the exam well? If I get a high score, wouldn't all attention shift to me? Then who would notice her? Seeing me in so much pain holding my stomach, Charlie frowned, his voice annoyed.
Do you create drama every day?
Tiffany pretended to be worried, her voice sweet. Sister, are you worried because you're afraid of not doing well? You're really faint-hearted. Charlie laughed, his voice full of sarcasm.
I think she's afraid of failing and losing face. Her high scores before were probably all cheating.
I didn't bother to reply. But unexpectedly, Mom spoke up, her voice stern and cold. Charlie, shut up. How can you say that about your sister? Charlie froze, looking at Mom in astonishment.
Mom, are you possessed? Don't you know that girls specializes in pretending to be pitiful and acting stupid to win your favor?
Mom's eyes suddenly became complex, mixed with something hard to put into words. I had no time to listen to more sarcasm among their family. I opened the car door and ran into the house myself. I'm going to the restroom for a bit. You guys go ahead. I'll come by myself later. But only a few minutes later, there was the sound of the door opening. Charlie's voice rang out.
Mom and Dad took Tiffany to the exam site, leaving me to wait for you.
He laughed gleefully.
But I won't take a chronic liar like you anywhere. You're on your own.
Although my body was very uncomfortable, my heart was strangely calm, without any sadness. I called out to him through the door. Brother, since when did you start hating me like this? Before, you were the type of brother crazy about his sister. Outside was silence for a long time, so silent it didn't seem like Charlie at all. I sighed. It's since Tiffany arrived, right? She's really good, and I'm too terrible. Only she deserves to be your sister, right? There was still no answer from outside the door. A few minutes later, the sound of the main door closing was heard. Charlie had left. The system's voice rang out again.
Host, do you still want to go to the exam site? I can teleport you there. But you're leaving soon anyway. The exam results are meaningless.
I hesitated a bit, then nodded. I still want to go. I wonder, when they lose a daughter with excellent achievements, will they feel regret? The bell ending the exam rang. I put down my pen and turned to look out the window. It was late afternoon, but the summer sunset was still brilliantly bright. A flock of birds swooped down to the window, perching on the almond tree, chirping in bursts. I blended into the crowd leaving the exam hall, walking slowly towards an unknown place. I chatted idly with the system, recounting the past 18 years. The system sighed with emotion.
Host, you have worked very hard.
I took the chance to act spoiled. Then can you make my body in the old world healthy again since I've suffered so much? The system was silent. I laughed, not making it difficult for it anymore. Living for another 18 years like this was enough. I smiled and looked up, but my expression suddenly changed. A car losing control was rushing fast towards the crosswalk. A little girl of a few years was being led by her mother near there. They completely didn't notice the car rushing like an arrow. Be careful. I shouted loudly and rushed towards them. The moment I pushed the girl and her mother out of the lane was also the moment my body was hit hard by the front of the car. My body was thrown into the air. Seeing the little girl crying and being held tight in her mother's arms, I smiled and closed my eyes peacefully. Leaving like this might be a slightly more meaningful way to go. But the very next second, I heard a familiar voice ringing in my ear. Hubby, did you just hit someone? Someone hurriedly got out of the car, trembling as they fumbled over my body. Then a panicked cry burst out.
It's Molly.
I tried to open my eyes, the corners of my mouth curving slightly into a weak smile. I didn't expect the car that hit me to be my own family's car. My dad was driving, Mom in the passenger seat, on their way to pick up Tiffany after the exam. Molly, don't close your eyes, hang in there. Mom will take you to the hospital right away. Seeing Dad still standing trembling in panic beside us, Mom screamed. Hurry up. I felt my body being lifted. The arms holding me were warm, a feeling I hadn't had for a long time. Dad's voice choked with tremors.
Molly, Dad will take you to the hospital right away.
Tiffany's voice also rang out after that, but I couldn't hear clearly anymore. I slowly closed my eyes, preparing to leave. I squeezed Mom's hand slightly to respond. Molly, do you want to say something? Don't cry, Mom. I gasped for air, each word heavy. Just consider that you never had this daughter. After speaking, I completely lost consciousness. The next time I could perceive anything, I was just a soul floating with the system outside the operating room. The emergency room door burst open from the inside. My parents immediately rushed over, frantically asking the doctor.
I'm sorry. The patient suffered ruptured internal organs and lost too much blood. Her constitution was already weak. We tried our best.
When hearing the death verdict, my mother seemed drained of strength, collapsing on the spot, tears gushing like a spring. She grabbed the doctor's coat, muttering, "Why is it like this? How could she die?" My dad also staggered against the wall and fell down. Only Tiffany smirked slightly, but very quickly pretended to be sad and walked over to comfort Mom. "Mom, don't be sad, you still have me." But the next second, Mom suddenly pushed her away hard. Tiffany fell to the ground, staring at Mom in disbelief and confusion. Mom's whole body trembled, her eyes red, pointing straight at her. You are not my daughter. You are the one who took my daughter's life. That's why she died like that." Just then, Charlie also ran over, hurriedly hugging Tiffany. He shouted loudly,
"Mom, you're scaring Tiffany."
But Mom took another step forward. She grabbed Charlie's collar tightly, questioning every word. "Didn't I tell you to take your sister to the exam? Then why was she alone when the accident happened?" Charlie was stunned into silence. The next second, my mother suddenly gave Charlie a hard slap. "Can't you distinguish who your real sister is?" I silently watched the chaotic scene in front of me, my heart feeling no emotion. The system shook its head.
Realizing too late, truly hateful.
But I suddenly had a hunch and turned to look at it. Why? Why did I suddenly appear in front of my parents' car to save someone? Doesn't their way home not go that way? The system sighed, its voice thoughtful.
You lived miserably for 18 years. I couldn't help but secretly use some tricks.
I laughed. Turns out this cold system is actually quite cute. I thought my story in this world had come to an end. I asked the system when we would leave. Everyone was arguing so noisily I didn't want to watch anymore. But the system said to wait a little longer. One person hadn't arrived yet. I looked up curiously towards the end of the hallway. Just then, I saw Tyler running over like a madman. Behind him were police and teachers. I thought the police came to handle the car accident caused by my father. But unexpectedly, the police took out handcuffs and locked them onto Tiffany's wrists. Everyone was shocked. My father spoke up.
"Comrade police officer, what's going on? What happened to my daughter?"
Charlie roared like a fighting cock in anger.
"Let my sister go."
The police officer shouted once, making the whole room instantly silent. He swept his eyes over everyone, his cold voice ringing out.
Based on the audio evidence provided by classmate Tyler, we suspect Tiffany is involved in a kidnapping case and intentional harm to others.
Everyone was dead silent. Tiffany's red eyes flashed with shock, turning to look at Tyler in disbelief. Tyler stepped forward, holding up his phone to play the recording.
"Tiffany, was the incident where the kidnapper ruined Mom's wrist arranged by you?"
Tiffany's voice rang out. "That's right, the fall was caused by someone I hired. I even forged the chat between that guy and Molly." She laughed loudly. But those three idiots, her parents and brother, believed it completely, treating her like a sinner and turning me into a treasure. Ha ha. Tiffany's laughter echoed in the long corridor. I took a deep breath. The faces of my parents and Charlie in that recording had changed color. Tiffany frantically rushed to grab the phone, wanting to stop the recording, but was held back by the police.
"Don't cause trouble."
Tiffany looked at Tyler with hatred, her eyes bloodshot. "The past few days, you treated me so gently and took care of me. Was it all fake? Deliberately getting close to trick me into saying everything to seek justice for that bitch Molly?" Everyone looked towards Tyler. He nodded silently amidst their gazes, curling his lips coldly looking at Tiffany.
"I grew up with Molly. I don't need you to tell me what kind of person she is."
Tiffany suddenly laughed tragically. "Too bad, your Molly is already dead." Tyler stood frozen. His eyes shattered, slowly turning to look at my parents. Under their stunned gaze, he collapsed to his knees as if broken. The system and I looked at each other in surprise, speechless. The system sked twice.
"Host, you misunderstood this love-struck guy."
Before I could react, another incident occurred. My mother suddenly grabbed her keys and rushed towards Tiffany. Before anyone could react, the key was stabbed hard into Tiffany's eye by her. "You bitch! Give me back my daughter." Many people came on the day of my funeral. Tiffany was put in prison, and my mother was detained pending investigation. The mother and daughter I saved came to the coffin, bowing their heads in thanks, praying for me to be reincarnated in a good place. The classmates who used to bully me were forced by Tyler, with full evidence, to come before my coffin to repent. After everyone left, only Tyler remained alone, crying bitterly. He muttered, recounting the time he was cold to me, the regret and guilt in his heart, saying he was too late in exposing Tiffany's face, causing me to die unjustly. He cried for so long that I cried along with him, then silently comforted him, and then got tired of listening. Finally, I had to beg the system for help. Save me. The system curled its lips and snapped its fingers. Tyler immediately collapsed unconscious. I cheered happily. That's really good. The system stared blankly.
I haven't done anything yet. He probably cried until he fainted.
I laughed gloatingly. On the day the college entrance exam results were announced, my father and Charlie brought my transcript to the detention center. In just a few days, my father looked 10 years older, his hair turning white.
Honey, Molly is the valedictorian this year. We should be happy for her.
Through the glass, my mother stroked the score on the screen, tears falling like rain. My daughter, such an obedient, filial, talented daughter, why did she die? She cried, tears soaking her face. When the news of me becoming valedictorian spread, old stories about my life were also dug up. So many relatives and friends who previously called to congratulate my father for having a talented daughter. They didn't know I was dead. Reporters called for interviews. Someone took a photo before the college entrance exam seeing Molly sleeping on a park bench. Everyone was curious why. My father froze. Perhaps he remembered. During those few days, I was kicked out of the house, had nowhere to go, and could only sleep in the park. Luckily, I didn't meet bad people. The reporter continued to ask.
Having such an excellent daughter, you and your wife must spoil her very much, right?
When Dad and Charlie returned, they saw the children playing downstairs. Surprisingly, seeing a little girl holding a music box, Charlie's eyes trembled. He walked quickly to snatch the music box, demanding where she got it. The girl cried out in fear. Her mother immediately pushed him away defensively. A big sister gave it to my child the other day. Are you crazy? Charlie's eyes instantly turned red, his voice hoarse.
Sell it back to me. I'll pay any price.
He bowed his head, clutching his chest as if enduring unbearable pain.
This is the birthday gift I gave my sister. It belongs to Molly.
Leaves rustled in the wind. The system and I turned to leave. The realization and regret I had to exchange my life for were not worth being moved by. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the hospital in the original world. The system spoke in a calm voice.
Host, the Mission Management Bureau considered that you saved 2 lives before leaving. They decided to restore your body's health in the real world.
It paused for a moment.
Good people will be rewarded. Host, I wish you a happy life in the days to come.
I stood frozen for a long time before slowly accepting that truth. For the rest of my life, I will live very happily.